to the Black Phoenix podcast channel. We talk about everything here and nothing is off the table. I am TR here and this is MC, and we're going to talk about a few topics today.
Let's do it.
All right, so for our first topic, I'm sure plenty of you have heard about it, but there's been a second attempted assassination on the former president Donald Trump. And the crazy thing with this one is that it took place while he was golfing today. And his golfing schedule or what he was doing today was not public information. So there's already a lot of questions about what's going on there, as well as the person that's in custody. And so we'll be going over that a little bit today. MC, any early thoughts on this?
This is what happens when we have a society that's become too emotional. We need to get to a space where we're comfortable with letting people be who the hell they are. And typically when somebody says something like that, they're talking about the rainbow community. That's not who I'm talking about right now. They have a big enough platform in a lot of space as is. I'm talking about the other side, the social conservatives. They don't really have a place to vent or outlay. So what ends up happening is when you have one side who's over emotional and they're dominating the other side, that's mental oppression, right?
Mm-hmm.
You mentally oppress somebody long enough, you don't give them a safe space to be themselves. That creates frustration. And I think that's why a lot of these so-called progressives, because let's be clear, a lot of them are the first ones that want to resort to violence or doing something extreme.
Right.
Exactly. I think that's a perfect reflection of what happened today. Trump is here because there's a large faction of people that like him. Now, whether you do or not is irrelevant. That's not going to change the first part of the statement I just made. He's here. So we need to get to a space where we're not arguing emotional arguments, meet people where they're at. Hey, why do you like this guy? What do you see in him? Maybe I'm missing something. And then those will lead to conversations where people can kind of open up to be themselves. And I think we'll have less situations like this. Because the bottom line is Trump's people are rocking with him way harder than Kamala's people are rocking with her, period.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, when it comes to these, and I actually looked this up though, when it comes to like multiple assassination attempts, and I want to say there was, Ronald Reagan, and then Ford, and then there's I'm forgetting Theodore Roosevelt, which I didn't realize they had multiple assassination attempts on them. So Trump is about to join a very elite group of men presidents that have had, threats on their lives, and with the not Social Security, but the Secret Service. There we go. Got my S's wrong. So with the Secret Service, you have people that they're trained to protect the president. They're trained to, get ahead of stuff like this. And this is another lapse in their protection of or detail for Trump. And the people in charge of Trump's Secret Service detail are the people he's running against. So something's weird's going on. I can't get too conspiracy here on this, but this is the second time this has happened. So, but let's go ahead and see what the news media has to say.
A portrait of him is emerging. It's not conclusive. It doesn't tell us definitively about motive, but we know a few things. We know that he lived for a long time in North Carolina, and there appears to have been a number of criminal convictions there, including one conviction for possession of a weapon of mass destruction back in 2002. Unclear exactly what that was about. Other charges and convictions related to possessing stolen property. 2, we have a LinkedIn account that says that he moved to Hawaii at one point. We have a long history of tweets, X now, with all kinds of things all over the map. Some very strange things, including at one point inviting the North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un to go to Hawaii to do work with him. We also know,
real quick, X has already scrubbed this guy's account. So he had like one tweet that was left, and he clearly was radicalized. But X's, and I guess I'm pretty sure all the other social media accounts have already scrubbed his account as well too.
I'm not surprised by any of that, number one. But I'm gonna be proactive here and add this caveat too. I'm a Second Amendment individual. I love the Second Amendment. I do own weapons. I am a defensive shooter, but I believe that the left is going to try to leverage this as gun control. That they're going to start those conversations again about restricting guns and they'll use the same terms, assault weapons, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm already just some of these comments I'm hearing about inviting a known dictator of an enemy country to the United States to work with him. That's telling me there's some mental issues here.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
like to dive into that a little bit earlier because I believe the real crisis in this country is mental health, not guns.
yeah. Well, also, with you being a gun owner, you and Kamala have something in common, so there's that.
Yeah, I don't believe her, but that's a different story.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back.
He was passionate about the Ukraine war on the side of the Ukrainians, and he traveled to Ukraine. There was a YouTube video that we've authenticated where he's giving an interview and describing his efforts to go try to fight for the Ukrainian cause. But because he was 56 years old at the time with no military experience, they didn't accept him as a fighter. And then he turned to try to recruit people to that cause. At one point, he had a scheme to try to recruit former Afghan pro-U.S. fighters to go over to Ukraine and fight for Ukraine. So those are the kinds of things we're learning about him. Again, it doesn't tell us why he might have done this and what his motive may have been. And Tom is absolutely right. With these convictions, it raises a question about how he possessed an assault rifle. But clearly, as you said at the beginning, there were a lot of lucky things here. The first thing was that the Secret Service saw that rifle poking out of the brush on the outskirts of this golf course as they were going to clear the next hole for Donald Trump to play. That was a lucky thing, but it still raises questions as to how, yet again, someone got within rifle range of the former president, Chris.
Yeah, I know he says lucky, like, oh yeah, a lot of things just went Trump's way. Like, again, I'm still going back to the Secret Service because growing up, from what I've seen on TV and what I've how I've seen the Secret Service act, on TV and just reading about the Secret Service, I'm blown away that this is the Secret Service. This is how they carry themselves when it comes to protecting a former president, and not to mention when it comes to like them talking about with this guy, this individual. There's more information out there. MSN, I call him MSDNC. They're trying to act like this is just some. I mean, the guy is clearly radicalized, but they're downplaying it. And I saw some other headlines that people are going to see later where they are downplaying this whole ordeal. I wish I had that screenshot of the guy or this individual when he posted about um, being radicalized, but I can't find a post. So if I find out, I'll fix it in the edit.
I don't understand. You can't downplay this. If someone makes a threat and there's evidence that they say radical and irrational things, there's nothing to ignore or discount.
Yeah.
He had a firearm. Clearly he was intent on hurting someone with it, former President Trump. So I don't understand, and I know they will try to scrub, cover up, spin this, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do it
Yeah.
because this isn't something that you can just downplay.
Yeah.
And words mean something nowadays, especially when it comes to intent to harm someone. This dude is 58 years old, talking about going and fighting over there with Ukraine. Come on, man.
Which
Obviously,
is which is crazy. Real quick, Ukraine, they were actually looking for all types of men. Like I remember they were looking for like men in their 40s to
yeah.
go fight in that war that's been still going on. And for some reason, Ukraine hasn't, lost yet, or Russia hasn't lost yet. But yeah, 58. I'm like, come on, man.
Well, let's keep it 100. The reason why Russia wasn't able to just come in here and dominate like they thought they would was because Ukraine armed all of the men and said,
That's true
you
too.
have to fight. And that's the stuff that we're not talking about. The same thing that Taiwan is doing right now
That's a
in
good point.
preparation for China. So
Yep.
why do you want to ban guns? I mean, that's one of the main reasons why it's going to be extremely difficult to invade the United States. Because if you do somehow manage to get that far, you got a
Mhm.
whole bunch of armed individuals who want that smoke. So let's look at the positives and the negatives of the
Yeah.
Second Amendment.
Yeah, there's definitely a conversation there when we get to the debate part about what Kamala said. But yeah, it definitely was a good idea about the Ukrainian government. So, but as more details come out, we'll stay vigilant, try to cover it as well too. But I'm really glad that Trump didn't get hurt, and this is the second time, and I don't think I've ever had. I mean, we just observed 9/11 a few days ago, and I mean, for most of us, we know where we're at, and now we have another situation like that happening. So,
Yeah.
all right. And the next topic we're going to talk about is the debate, which has broke many viewer records on the. Well, I mean, I think for most people watch it on TV, but for me, I watched it on the internet, and I watched it with some of my favorite content creators. How about you, MC? How'd you watch it, and what are your thoughts? Quick thoughts.
Old school way, man. I just turned on the TV and just watched.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a place for TV land. So, but ever since the debate, there's been well, real quick, MC, who do you think won the debate?
I think they both lost the debate, honestly, and I think
Hmm.
for the most part it was a waste of time. Um, by now, the only people you're going to sway are the independents and the undecideds.
Hmm.
And I think most of them have already, we're too close to November for anybody to change their minds. I'm honestly more excited about watching the VPs go at it because I don't know enough about either one of them.
That's a good
But
point. I forgot about them.
yeah, so what I will say is this. I watched that debate for three very specific reasons. There were some questions, there were two questions I wanted to Kamala to answer.
Hmm.
Her flip-flopping on things like fracking and how does she differ from what we have in office right now because she's a part
Right.
of that same administration. She did not answer either one of those questions for me. And then with Trump, I was kind of looking to see he was asked, do you have any January 6th regrets? And that's always
Hmm.
been my biggest thing with him.
Hmm.
Whether he admits it or not, these people were doing it in his name. Now, whether
Yeah.
he authorized it or not or supported it, that's a different conversation. But I wonder if he does have any regrets because a lot of things went bad that day, including a cop that was killed. And the Republicans are supposed to be the party of the police. We're not talking
The
about that enough.
real quick, the cop. There wasn't a cop killed that day. And I'm doing ABC moderator fact check on the fly. So no cops were killed that day. There was the woman that was killed. I think her name was Ashley Babbitt, is it? But she was the only one that was killed that day. And that story, it's hard for me to like figure out like because I've heard what Trump has said, I've heard what other people have said, and so unfortunately, bad place, wrong time is how I saw it. But no cops were killed that day. Now, I think some people
I
might
stand
equate.
corrected because they did just I did as soon as you fact checked me, I looked it up real quick. The Capitol Police themselves did release a statement saying that he died of natural causes,
Right.
but they start to kick in while he was in the line of duty. So I stand corrected.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people actually think that though. That's the crazy thing is because um, when it came to like the whole January 6th, there's a lot of information out there that was suppressed, and a lot of people didn't see. And I'm not trying to convince people about the whole January 6th. Honestly, if you however you feel about it is how you're going to feel about it. And so people should really look at like, I mean, all the information is out there. If you want to like dig into it or you want to use Chat GPT for regular people that know nothing about January 6th that want to find out about it, they can look into it. But with everything else that's going on, like especially what's going on in Ohio, and then we'll get back to the debate. But I mean, people got way bigger fish to fry, and considering some of the other what the Democrats would call insurrection stuff that's going on with the pro-Gaza movement, that stuff should have been all over the news for what they consider January 6th. That is January 6th times two, and maybe even three. BLM was the BLM riots, when there multiple buildings, and especially Tim Walz's city when he ran and hide. That city burned down, or part of it burned down, I guess. But that was another January 6th type of situation that people just do not talk about. And so, when people look into some of these things, when it comes to like, Trump this and or how they feel about Trump and the whole January 6th, I don't know what answer he can honestly give that people are going to be satisfied with, whether you're in the middle or if you are on the Democratic side, or if you are liberal. I don't know what answer he could actually give. So
I don't either, but and despite the correction that you just gave me on my information, I was still wanted to see him answer that question because
yeah,
at the end of the day, it was an invasion of a congressional building
sure,
and
yeah,
claimed to be doing it in his name. And I just want to hear him I do want to hear if he did have any regrets. Even if he says I don't have any, I still want to hear his answer.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, I'll give Kamala this credit. I think one thing about Trump is he is a man of confidence.
Mhm.
And one thing that I've learned is most people don't know how to deal with men of confidence. I think her strategy initially was to come out and quote unquote go at his ego a little bit,
Mhm.
which I don't know. It was somewhat effective, I guess, but
It's a good strategy. That's what they
yeah.
say to beat. If you want to beat him, go at his ego or get
But
him
I
off
have
his.
concerns with that because here's the kicker. If you come out aggressive as a woman or assertive, right? And
Mhm.
let's say you come at a man like that and he returns that same energy that she's giving him. Typically what happens if we're keeping it 100 is most women when they get that same energy back are going to go back into their, oh, I'm just a woman, why are you treating me like this type of thing.
Yeah.
And that is one of my overall concerns with her being a president too. She gonna get the smoke
Yeah.
verbally
She
when
should.
she's in office.
Public figure.
you
Yeah.
you can't hide behind being a woman. You wanted this. You got to take all this smoke that you about to get. And I question if she can handle something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree too, because if you are going to be the president or you're going to run for that position, everything you got to be okay with everything. It's not going to be it's not going to be a conversation where are we going to be able to, like, they said this about me, or this was, this isn't true, and how dare you say, insert, DEI situation, like black woman, straight, or what was I gonna say, gay or whatever. Like, those are the things that people tend to use when they don't want to answer a question or they want to silence you. So
Yeah. And I might be going off a little tangent here, but I tell this to any woman who argues with me about Kamala. And I just simply say, make up your mind. Are you guys these precious gems that we're supposed to protect and
mhm.
provide for, or are we gonna be equal? You got to decide because it can't be both.
Right.
Whichever one is gonna be. If you want to go with this equality stuff, she gonna get the same smoke that Joe Biden got. She gonna get the same smoke that Donald Trump got. If it's this women are precious gems that need to be protected and taken care of, then I think we should say she shouldn't be running for
Yeah.
president.
Yeah.
So two different conversations.
Yeah. So for me, initially, I wanted to see Trump just. I was under framing. I was under thinking that Trump had nothing to lose in this. He was in the driver's seat, and Kamala had to, like, blow it out of the park. Like, just I don't know what she could have done, and she may have won some headlines because um, the moderators were definitely on her side. She has some connections not only with the ABC moderators, but she had connections with the and a high ranking executive over at ABC. So, oh wait, was it on ABC or was it
It was
NBC?
it was ABC.
Okay, ABC. All right. So she's got some, she got some pull over there, and I'm sure they don't want to have you know a have a situation where they are giving any favorable treatment to Trump, which would be, if you just call it down the middle, like they did with, like, CNN did, and CNN actually didn't have to do anything, which Trump definitely shined in that one because Trump didn't have to say too much because Biden was digging himself a hole,
Yeah.
and that was really what he needed to do in this situation because he initially started off really strong. And then, once it became clear that the moderators are on Kamala's side and Kamala's redirecting, or they're, on the side of Kamala, like redirecting, like, hey, how do you feel about this, Trump? Like, you can definitely tell that Trump was definitely feeling the heat on that stuff because, it's 3 versus 1. Like, nobody, I mean, not even the best, debater couldn't win those type of situations. And there was zero fact checking on Kamala's side. So for anyone that,
None.
you know, I don't care if, like, Trump had like 30 to 100 or whatever. At the end of the day, how many did Kamala have? You tell me zero, especially on the fracking, especially on the
She was wrong
Charlotte's,
about abortion too. She tried
the
to
abortion. Yeah,
Trump is actually a social liberal, in my opinion. He don't
yeah,
care about that stuff. He said the reason I wanted to get rid of Roe versus Wade was to let the states decide. I want to
yeah,
empower the people. I don't want the federal government involved in this.
yeah,
I'm fine with that. anytime the people in power want to give up some of their power, I'm always going to support that. Give
Of
it up.
course.
Now, here's another thing I'm gonna throw out here, and this is where Trump has gone into hostile territory and done interviews,
Yeah.
at least two that I could think of. The most recent being the NABJ, because I don't know why they didn't have any male representation on that panel, but that's a different story. I've yet to see her go to Fox News or sit down with someone, Tucker Carlson, who's independent now.
Yeah.
She's not talking with anyone who opposes what she's trying to do, and that's a concern for me too.
Yeah.
Because if she does win, you're not just the Democrats' president anymore. You're everybody's president. Just like
Yes.
we have to show respect for the position, whether we like her or not. She has to somehow find some way to unify this greatest country in the world that's more divided than it's ever been.
Yeah.
So, and I think a part of that includes talking with people who don't like you or don't agree with you.
Yeah.
She's yet to do that.
Yeah, and for the people that want to say Trump is, evil or whatever ad hominem attack they want to put on him, Trump never goes after the liberal voters or anything. He never has, thrown some insult their way. But majority of the surrogates for the Democrats, they're always going after MAGA. I'm like, that's still half the country. You guys are
Yeah.
going to have to figure out a way to bridge the gap, and it's not going to be a conversation like you spent 365 days. Let's say Kamala does win. All of a sudden, okay, guys, now we're going to really let's shake hands and hug and stuff like that. No, you have been throwing insults after insults, going after MAGA. Biden did it first, or Biden was doing it as well. And then anyone that's on the the mainstream media, they've always been doing it. So as much as people want to get mad at people that are supportive of Donald Trump or conservatives, at the end of the day, these are still Americans that deserve to have their voices. I mean, regardless of how they think, they deserve to be represented as well too. And so you got to find the middle. I mean, the thing with Trump's presidency, I think is probably one of the best presidencies, is that he took care of everybody. Like his policies protected the country, the tariffs. I mean, people made more money. The HBCUs were protected. They got additional funding that they didn't have to go back and request more funding, which I didn't know they were even doing that, but that gets lost on HBCU nowadays because now they're, repping Kamala and everything like they're going to be her savior. But there's a lot of things that Trump did that was just great for everyone versus just, hey, I'm just going to these specialty groups, they're going to get all this attention, especially anyone doing anything for illegal immigrations. I got problems with them. I'm always going to have problems with them.
Yeah, that's an issue for me. Let me add on to this real quick. The First Step Act and the work that he was starting to do with the opportunity zones would have been very beneficial for everyone as well, including the Black people who seem to be struggling with voting red.
Yeah.
But I was also going to say that, man, I don't know how November is going to go. I really don't. But what I do know is no matter what the result is, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people, and whoever wins is going to need to be ready to hit the ground and deal with that ASAP.
Yeah. Honestly, the people that I think people want to say it's going to be the MAGA supporters. No, it's not. It's the only thing that people, the media and like just random people, just normies, the only thing that they have is this January 6th, what happened there, and Charlottesville. And Charlottesville was like almost, actually, I forget how long ago Charlottesville was, but it was at least 5 years ago. So however long it was, but it was during 5 or 6 years ago. So it's been a while. But after that, you got to go further. We have multiple examples of people on the left when Trump won the office. There was the march on Washington by the pink cat ladies or whatever it was. And they had their sit-ins, and then you had politicians saying, hey, when they changed when they overturned Roe v. Wade, and everyone lost their damn mind, and it was like, hey, go sit in front of these justices' homes and let your voices be heard. Like that could have easily went a different way. So whenever it comes to like worrying about these big elections, it's generally on the left. That's why these businesses, especially in these blue states, they're going to be boarding up their businesses because when they see that Trump's going to win, and I think it's going to be honest, I would say I want to say it's going to be a landslide, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I definitely believe Trump is definitely going to win because this debate was supposed to be. And actually, getting back to the original question about the debate, I think Kamala didn't do enough. I don't think she did enough to distance from Biden. I don't think she, she came across as like believable because the whole gun thing, like, I mean, that honestly, Trump should have been like, seriously, what gun do you have? Like, what you and Tim Walz are gun owners. Okay, what guns do you guys have? And then Kamala was
That would have
talking
been a
about,
great question to ask because
yeah,
I don't believe her.
yeah, nobody believes her. And it's funny how, she's talking about nobody's gonna take any guns, but when she was campaigning, before she got booted out because she didn't win any primaries, she was talking about not but she was talking about like banning firearms, but it was like more like assault rifles or something like that, something related to that though. But how she's going to go about it, how she's going to do it. I mean, she's still talking about door to door, going to your homes or trying to find or create a registry for something like this, which is we definitely don't need anything like that going on.
Hey, I want to go back to something you said earlier because it was a
Mm-hmm.
clutch point. You talked about businesses suffering in blue states.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at California, her state.
Yeah,
Earlier this year, State Farm Insurance announced, "We out, we're done, we're not
yeah,
messing with y'all no
deuces.
more." That everybody, when your policy expires, you're done, and that was
Yeah,
specifically because of left-leaning policies that were enacted. They tried to
yeah,
cap how much they could charge people, while the number of claims that they had to pay out an issue were on the rise.
yeah,
What did you think was going to happen? Like, look, I'm trying not to be too biased one way or the other, but all I can see is what's thrown in front of my face.
yeah,
And we've lived through both. We lived through a Biden administration, which, by the way, they knew he was not competent enough to have this job, and they hid
yeah.
it from us and tried to disguise it.
That
So
question
now I'm
should have
looking
been
at
asked.
that should have been asked. I wanted to
Mhm.
specifically hear her say, "How will you be different from him?" And why all these things that you say you want to do, you're not doing them now. That question was asked. She
Yeah,
didn't answer it.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, especially the firearm question. I found out that David, the dude on there, the moderator, he actually had an interview when Kamala was doing her primary thing. She was talking about going or talking about banning, certain firearms. He asked her that question. So why did he ask that same question in the debate? Like, hey, Kamala, we actually had this interview several years ago. How is your position? Why has your position changed now? And it's just mind blowing to me. They really did a disservice to a lot of people, and they didn't help Kamala. And case in point, the whole Haitian thing. So I know a lot of people. I mean, we see the news a little bit more than most people, I would say, but for most people, they didn't hear about this whole, cats and geese and ducks and stuff like that. Which I do believe there's some truth to it, regardless if the city manager that David tried to point out, like, hey, the city manager said it's not happening. Trump's like, okay, well, you guys are reporters, so you want to go there and do something about it and check into it. And like, nope, we're good. Take the city manager who is a leaning left-leaning Democrat. So there's that. But I think this kind of blew up in their faces though, because now it shines a spotlight on where these Haitian immigrants are being sent to, which they're being sent to, and I know you're going to think this is crazy. So Ohio, which you already knew, but they're also being sent to Tennessee, and they're being sent to Florida and Texas. Okay, and well, Texas is obvious just because Texas gets everybody apparently,
yeah.
even though they're trying to get rid of everyone. But this is the crazy thing. So I went down this rabbit hole. How many Republicans do you think have um, won the presidency without winning Florida or Texas or Tennessee or Ohio?
Without winning those,
Yeah, without winning those.
you need Texas if you're a Republican.
Yeah. So yeah,
So I'm going to say zero.
yeah, it's zero.
Yeah.
So if you have these and with this whole temporary, it's called TPS or something. I don't know it's temporary something something. But with this program in play, the government, which was started by George W. Bush, when I looked into it, it was one of the Bushes, but terrible at this. But when it comes to like that program when it started, it was started by Bush, and then you fast forward to how it's being implemented today. I mean, I feel like it's being weaponized because if you want to change a state from red to blue, this is the blueprint because you can't win those. A Republican president cannot win those states at all.
Arizona's been red for a long time, but it goes blue occasionally. And right now
Yeah,
we have a Democratic governor who I've actually met personally. She's actually pretty reasonable and easy to work with. But
yeah,
we also have in the Senate, both of those seats are filled by Democrats, and we've got some very
right
intense
now.
elections going on down here right now because a lot of people still consider Arizona a purple state, but that's going to be another state that's going through what you just talked about as well. I do want to say this as well. I got to get this off my chest. I try to be as tolerant as I can with people's political beliefs and views, but I have a lot of smoke for single issue voters. I think you all are destroying society. I think you're intellectually lazy and disingenuous. Single issue voters, do better. Think more outside of just that one little issue that you care about and look at the whole platform of what the party or the candidates want to do. But get them out of here, man. I'm so sick of single issue voters. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, about single issue voters because, well, the one thing about these single issue voters, they they're prioritizing the wrong things, like the whole abortion thing. The whole abortion conversation is a moot point, which Kamala brought up. Like this was like a bar for a lot of people. The whole abortion thing, it's a moot point though because she doesn't have the votes in the House. She doesn't have the votes in the Senate. She doesn't have enough votes to create a national ban. And so when they're asking Trump about a national ban or would he veto it or anything like that, it's never going to come to fruition. It's never going to reach his desk. It's
Yeah,
impossible. And well, I won't say it's impossible, but they don't have enough votes to get that push through. And why would you want why would you want to like a national ban or why would you want to like have an abortion? I mean, yeah, I guess it'd be a national ban, but I mean, why would you want anything like that though? Because there are voters in this country that I mean, the women that everybody says believe all women, listen to all women, you know, they, their votes matter too. And they are, we're going to listen to their voices. They have a voice, and I don't want a national ban on abortion. Conversations like that, or make abortion legal. Like the women there's women on both sides, and you're telling people like, hey, we're not, just federal bans regardless of what state you live in. No, get involved with your state, get them to vote the right people in, and you got a problem solved.
yeah, man. While you were saying that, I just looked up the split in just the House of Dems versus Republicans. Yeah, you're right. It'll never make it through the
Yeah,
House.
very thin margins. And
Yeah,
even if you do get it, get it past that first stage, like some way, somehow, something crazy happens, it's going to be stuck in purgatory, the court system for like a generation or two. It's never going to
yeah,
move. So
yeah.
regardless of if they try to pack the courts or whatever they're trying to do, it's never going to get off. It's never going to get off. It's never going to see the light of day.
If it can
Yeah.
somehow get through the House and get to the Senate, there's a shot, but no way it's getting through the House. I
No.
mean, it's 221 to 213
Yeah.
Republicans in the
Especially.
House.
Yeah. Even on like, even if they were like, you don't even have enough Democrats that will vote for it. So there's really not enough votes to go around, and that's the problem with a lot of these voters is that they don't understand that you're never going to get a national ban on it. Like,
Yeah,
or a national ban will never happen. Like, he won't veto it because he'll never get to that level. So
which
for
is what he
folks,
said, and he was right.
yeah,
Absolutely.
he said that multiple times, and they just acted like, up, no big deal. They just let Kamala just lie about it, but
Yeah.
one of those things. But one thing that did come up that we haven't touched on. Oh, and then I guess to wrap it all up, maybe I wasn't clear earlier. I think Trump I don't think Trump had anything to lose, but he definitely could have did some knockouts with Kamala, like he did with Joe Biden. However, I think this is the one thing. This is the one criticism I have with Trump. He actually might be too trusting, because we saw with and in most cases he does outshine those situations. But when he went to the National Black Journalist, I don't know if he thought it was going to be an ambush, because he said he thought Kamala was going to be there, and she wasn't there. So anytime Trump is going to a place that's not Fox News, it's always hostile. Just consider it hostile, and do your best. And then he went on there to the ABC, and I wish he had like really fired back at some of these the moderators, because I mean, if we're picking it up, he surely is picking up. But I just don't know why he didn't fire back on him, because I know he knows his stuff. I mean, he's been debating crazily for somebody that's not been in government like that. He's been killing in debates though, but I'm not saying he was tame, but I really would have loved to see him like fire back on some of these things with Kamala said, and then what the moderators are debating him, and he did do it for a little bit, but there were some certain situations, like I said, with the whole gun thing. Like, come on, everybody knows Kamala ain't got no gun. And then when she said the fine people on both sides alluded to this, that rhetoric that Trump's racist and he's standing with Proud Boys, blah blah blah. That's already been debunked. That's already been by left-leaning sources. It's been debunked. And they didn't fact check. They didn't say anything. He had to do their jobs and fact check Kamala. And then when they would ask Kamala about something, then they're like asking Kamala's question to Trump. It's like, come on, man, that's not how a debate's supposed to be going. But the one thing that's that came up that's actually I don't want to say it's true yet, because we're still finding out about it, but the whistleblower that Kamala got a heads up on the questions.
Yeah.
So let me.
The only person who seems to be going after that is Elon, apparently. Why you pulling that up though? Let me ask you this: if you were in Trump's shoes, would you want a second debate, or would you just say, "Nah, we good and keep it moving"?
So.
And does your answer change if you're in Kamala's shoes?
All right, so considering how everything's turning out, because originally when I walked away from it, I'm like, man, Trump left a little bit on the table, but I wanted to see him like just blow it out of the water. And so after a few days, after looking at like some of the results, Kamala didn't get that boost in voter support like she normally did. She had to like knock it out of the park. I wanted Trump to end Kamala's presidency right there, like he did with Biden. So he didn't do that, but I mean, he did enough. Like once we figured out, like the moderators were on the take, I was like, okay, I can give him a little bit of slack there. But I don't know if I would even do a third debate. And if I did do a third debate, here's what Kamala should do. So I'll take Kamala's point of view. If I'm Kamala, I would go to Fox News. I would do a sit-down interview with them, go to Fox News and say, like, look, I don't know why Trump is running, but hey, I'll do the debate. If she did that, then Trump would have to do
the debate. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. Say like, hey, and he can set the terms. I don't think Kamala will ever do it, but that's all she really has to do. Just say she'll go to Fox News, but I don't think she will, just because this whole thing with the getting the questions. And so if she did get the questions, then we got a whole bigger problem, because, Democrats have shown a history of trying to, help their candidates out. So, and so this is stuff this is an affidavit by this guy. So I follow this guy, but I don't know, like, I don't want to say this is 100% true, because we're still finding out about it. But just like the same thing with Donna Brazile, where she gave the questions to Hillary Clinton, we didn't find out for what, I want to say maybe a week or two.
Not only Donna Brazile, but I think her name was Deborah Wasserman Schultz, who was the DNC chair at the time, because I remember that was the exact same year that they kind of did some shenanigans with the Bernie Sanders campaign.
Yeah.
It's right around that same time.
Yeah.
So Danny
So
watched him in shorts. I said Donna. Yeah.
Yeah. So you still got this stuff going on where, and I'm not going to read all through all this stuff though, but if people want to, take a look, just this guy's name is Doc Net YouTube. Take a look at this stuff, because if this affidavit is to be true, and considering like everything that's already happened with the Democrats and what they're willing to do, like nothing's off the table for them. There's no line for them actually. They've already tried to put Trump behind bars. They've tried to, throw all these convictions out of him, and they constantly are just, saying this crazy rhetoric that puts his life, exactly. That's putting his family in jeopardy, his life, and I don't know where they're going to. I mean, if Trump doesn't get in office, they're not going to stop. So he definitely has to get in the office, and he's got to, he's got to get some of the trash out, take some of the trash out, and also change some laws too, because this is crazy how this stuff is happening. But yeah, so if this turns out to be true that she got the questions ahead of time, I mean, there was two theories that were floating out there. One is she got the questions, which I think most people thought, but then the whole earrings thing, which I mean, it's possible, but I don't think she'd be that. I just don't think she'd be. I just don't think she. I really want to say I don't think she's smart enough to do the earrings thing, but at the end of the day, I just don't think. I think that's too far fetched right now. But this whole documents thing, this is definitely something in the Democrat playbook. Like this is like day one type of stuff.
Also, it looks like the VP debate is going to be October 1st, and CBS has that one. So I'm actually looking forward to that too. Get to know.
Yeah. We actually probably could live stream that too. So we'll work out the details. But yeah, any final thoughts on the debate?
I just want to say to the people, and I know I'm talking to a large group of people, if you don't like either candidate, put that to the side and look at what policies they want to enact and vote on which ones align with your life.
Yeah.
Because most people don't like either one, but here we are. You can vote third party too. That's an option. I don't knock people that go third party, but I say just look at what they want to do, what policies they want to enact, see how that aligns with your life, make your decision. All I ask is that you do your own thinking. Voting for somebody because your mama or your grandmama did it is not acceptable anymore. Time to stand on your own.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I definitely second that too, because for the longest time, I always thought I was, raised one way, and that's the way I've been taught. And, from just looking at stuff on the media, all the propaganda that's put out there, once you break from it, like either you go independent, which I think for some people they might go independent, but they really just don't want to say they're Democrat in public, like Stephen A. Like, oh, even Tez Figaro. I mean, she says she's independent, but she does a lot of work with the Dems. So there's that. But yeah, people just gotta just look at like how your life was 4 years ago, and how is it going for currently right now, and then how's that working out for all these states. We shouldn't be hearing about illegals coming into the country, or this. I mean, and especially with the Haitians, like they can be pretty much put anywhere, and if you're in a red state, they're probably going to come to your state here soon. So
yeah,
craziness. All right, let's switch to a fun topic.
Hell yeah, let's have some fun.
All right, next topic, we're going to be talking about Shannon Sharpe. Now, before we go into this, I believe, okay, Shannon Sharpe is one of the best content creators right now. I thought it was like crazy that when he left, I mean, actually, I like watching Shannon Sharpe on the Undisputed with Skip Bayless, but I don't agree with why Shannon left, because I know it has something to do with Damar Hamlin and how he probably felt that Skip, I don't know, he had some problem with Skip about it though, and I thought it was overblown. But I mean, at the end of the day, they shook hands and went their separate ways. But Shannon Sharpe, I mean, just what he's did with his 2 podcast channels, YouTube channels, with the Nightcap, and also the Shay Shay Club Shay Shay. He's done a phenomenal job, and he's kind of a blueprint for a lot of creators. That you want to get in this game, Shannon is showing you how to do it. You don't have to be perfect. And Shannon Sharpe is, I don't watch all his YouTubes, but he definitely goes viral a lot, and so a lot of times you just gotta see how the greats are doing it. And he's only been in this game for a little bit for somebody that was in broadcasting, well, football, of course, but broadcasting and just to go on YouTube because we've seen a lot of musicians and rappers and other famous people get on here and athletes, but none of them can do it like Shannon.
I say this about Shannon before you roll into the clip. And I'm specifically talking to Black folks when I say this, who complain about the way they're treated in the workplace and they try to tie it to racism all the time. Shannon Sharpe is the classic example of go where you're celebrated.
Yeah.
If everybody hates you and is racist and disrespect you as much as you say they do, Shannon Sharpe is the perfect example of you already have the tools and the resources to be great on your own.
Yeah.
I'll start there. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think the final straw for them was I think Skip said something disrespectful about Shannon's career. And in my opinion, Shannon Sharpe is, to me, is the greatest tight end to ever play the game.
Yeah.
You could probably throw Gronk and a few other people up there too. Tony Gonzalez for sure, but he's in the top 3 at least.
Yeah.
And I believe he has 3 Super Bowl rings, and he's been all pro. He's done it all. And hell, even Sterling Sharpe is one of the GOATs. So he comes from a GOAT culture. Mm-hmm. So of course, I think Skip says something to him, and this is just my personal thoughts. I think Shannon was to the point where, do I slap this dude? Do I reach across this table and choke this dude, or do I just say, you know what, I'm gonna just keep it moving?
Yeah,
do my own thing. And I think that's what he did, and he bet on himself, and he won.
Yeah, and just real quick on that, their banter is why I watched it. Like when Skip left First Take, First Take was just a mess for a while with the whole Max Kellerman arc. It was just a mess for a while. It still kind of is a mess, but yeah, when Shannon came over and Skip, him and Skip made it work. So it's unfortunate, but everything's gotta go have to do something different, I guess.
As long as ESPN continues to let the left leaners get their things off on the air and not the right ones to keep.
I'm extremely embarrassed that a very, very private, intimate situation, the audio can be heard. And I'm extremely disappointed in myself. 5 minutes before I came on, phone rings. It's Cat Williams. What's up? The first thing out of his mouth, guess what he said, Ocho?
Oh, wow.
You ain't gay today?
Oh, man. Look, full disclosure, I never thought Shannon was, playing on the other side. I never once thought, even though he had that one viral picture when he got out of his car he had the man purse and a jogging suit or whatever. Like, I never thought he was. I just thought Shannon, it's kind of weird, but I never thought he was. It's just weird that they brought this up in the conversation, and it was funny, but they kept talking about it, which was really weird, though.
Yeah, I never dwell too much, and I watch Nightcap a lot, and he talks about his sexual exploits and past experiences a lot. I never questioned his sexuality, quite frankly, because I didn't care. But I do know that it was affecting him, that so many others were. And a part of being a man is being who you authentically were created to be, and not caring what other people think about it. So when I see men act like that about certain things, it's odd to me. I'm gonna take the Cameron approach. Cameron had a really good take on this. He thought a lot of it was staged. And I'm starting to wonder that myself, and I'm gonna tell you why. I was talking with my wife earlier about this, and while we were having this conversation, I kid you not, I swear my phone is listening to my conversation.
Oh man!
I get on Facebook, and the very first thing I see is an ad for Viagra, and who's pushing it? Shannon Sharpe.
Oh man! Seriously?
So yeah, this was in my Facebook timeline. So I'm like, man, this seems a little too convenient. And he does talk about the Blue Diamonds quite a bit in the Nightcap podcast. He did mention that to people that think this is staged, I almost lost sponsors. ESPN had to do a review. Okay, first of all, if ESPN has to do a review between two consenting adults doing what they doing in the bedroom, and they let
Hey,
him go for that, he would have been able to sue them and
hey,
come up
hold,
big time.
hold up. Are we
Yeah,
gonna
this
forget
wasn't
about Paul
anything he
Pierce?
voluntarily wanted to share.
Yeah, but
That's number one.
hold on,
Number
hold on. Are we gonna
yeah,
forget about
yeah.
Paul Pierce?
Oh, Paul Pierce was spoken. Paul Pierce was spoken blunts with
If
allegedly
it's
women who
legal,
killed themselves.
it had to be
What is
legal,
it?
right?
Is it? What state is Paul Pierce in? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, if you okay, let's say he was in a legal state, maybe it was in California or something. But I think Paul Pierce. I mean, if I compare this to what Shannon did, but Paul Pierce was nothing. Shannon was it was. I don't know if he was clapping cheeks because it sounds he was doing something and all that grunting. That's like, man. And people, when I was watching reviews on it, because I was like, I'm about to look this crap up, and people were just cracking up, laughing, and I'm like, I'm laughing too. But I was like, all right, are we done? Are we done? And I mean, look, it was only like 20 seconds, but still, like,
I see. I don't look at Paul Pierce and Shannon Sharpe the same for a couple of reasons. Number one, Shannon Sharpe has a much bigger platform. It can generate much more revenue.
yeah,
Number two, Paul Pierce, and I got a lot of respect for Paul Pierce's game. I think he's underrated and
yeah,
probably doesn't get the respect he deserves. But Paul Pierce is a brand risk. And the reason why I'm saying that is I've seen videos of him. I think him and Kevin Garnett were doing an event together, and DraftKings was the sponsor. And I think they caught him saying some wild stuff about DraftKings
yeah.
at a DraftKings event. It may
Well,
not have been DraftKings, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
it was definitely recorded, and KG was like, "Hey, you know we're recording, right?" Like,
Yeah, you can't mess up the brand, bro. Like, if that's the way you're gonna roll, cool. But just know you're gonna sever your it's like in the Bible say, whoever give you money is your master.
yeah,
Whoever you
yeah,
owe money to or whoever gives you money to is your master. So when you accept the sponsorship, you got to take on that risk of not messing up their brand
yeah,
while building up your own. And Paul Pierce doesn't seem to recognize stuff like that. So that's what I would say to him.
yeah,
But I think I don't. I'm halfway between the this was natural and this was staged. Shannon Sharpe did mention that he's never went live on Instagram before and it just happened. I say be thankful. It could have been a lot worse. First of all, the identity of the woman, he could have said her first and last name. He only said
yeah,
her first name. Michelle is a common name. And number two, sound like he was going in. I mean, she was reacting. It would have been even worse if he with this lady and he clapping them cheeks and she ain't making no noise. She's
yeah,
clearly not interested. That would have been a whole lot worse. And I would have made way more jokes about that if that was the case. So
yeah,
count it as a win. And if old girl is mad at you, she could just go back to being old girl because all we know is her first name.
yeah, yeah. It's man, it's a wild world. And going back to Shannon about the whole if he's on a rainbow, at some point, like I'll just say for Drake. Drake don't care about nobody. He don't care how y'all feel about him. He don't care if he not like us, but y'all care. I mean, not you, but they care if Kamala's like us. But um, this thing is so crazy. Like you could have so much money, so much admiration towards you. Hall of Famer, just killing the game on YouTube, and the folks that are in the comments or the people that have no platform or no profile in their no profile pic, they keep you up at night. That's just so wild to me. Like this dude's just this stream alone, I want to say they said he had over 100,000 people in the live stream. The only person that I've ever seen with over 100,000 in live stream is Kai Cenat. That's it. That is the only one. And Kai Cenat is a gamer, a gaming streamer, or I don't know what he does actually. I just see him playing games. But Kai Cenat is, he does a lot of streaming. He gets a lot of crowds, but he's the only one. Well, I guess there's another person. I think it was that Ninja dude, Ninja streamer is what he goes by
I'll take your
Ninja.
word for it. You tapped in with that stuff more than I am.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the people I see doing the most are people that are gaming folks or people that are doing like crazy entertainment, not Shannon, or people like Shannon, like 100,000 a live stream. I mean, he got paid. YouTube is just giving him
So
checks.
basically, he just did the exact same thing that these OnlyFans chicks be doing. He took clapping cheeks and turned it into making money.
Yeah, he pulled a
He
Kim
basically did the
Kardashian.
exact same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And people got in there and I think they were trying to, you know what was for me that was like, all right, this is staged, is that Chad was like disappointed by it. I'm like, well, was the whole thing, did you see the episode where Shannon was scolding Chad about being late?
Yeah, I heard bits and pieces of it, but not the whole
Okay.
thing.
I didn't even believe that one because I was like, why would you guys air that business out on the platform? And then like what, not even 2 days later, you get Instagram gate. It's like, come on, there's something. I mean, if people are going to believe it, or
Controversy equals clicks, clicks equals money. If people want to see, oh snap, Unc got an Ocho about being late. Let me check that out. Now you got more viewers. You got more clicks.
Yeah, and then everybody's talking about it. We're talking about it. So, yeah, I mean, he this other thing too with Shannon is that he's feeding a lot of people too. Because I'm not saying it was a slow news week, but he definitely is giving people some content to definitely take a look at and react to. But I mean, I don't know if he's getting paid off of it more. I mean, I will never say he can have too much money, but hey, let Shannon. I mean, let him cook.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let me see.
Clapping cheeks.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen.
Come on, cat.
And this is.
Yo, what's up?
All right, we're not gonna do that. All right, so yeah. Shannon is he a wild boy, but it's how it is. Hey, so all right,
he's rich and he's single. It is what it is, man. He
gonna okay. And this is the other thing with Shannon that some people may know if you followed him, or I mean, obviously he's a workout warrior, but he got both his hips replaced. So, and Shannon's in his 50s or his 50s or 60s or something.
He got to be in his 50s.
Yeah, 50s. Still clapping cheeks, still in the weight room.
Yeah.
Like whatever the excuse is, hey, don't want to hear it, because getting both your hips replaced and he can still move like that. I think he did some squats or something where he was trying to test out his hips or whatever. But I mean, apparently they work.
He clapping cheeks while the average age of erectile dysfunction continues to drop year after year. So it might be a little bit of saltiness in the comments too.
Yeah. I
go get you a Michelle. Stop worrying about what Shay is doing.
The funny thing about the whole Michelle thing, and I'm only laughing because I know why people were saying it, but that's the thing. You know what they say about the Michelle thing? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Break it down for me.
They call Michelle Mike, a lot of times.
Oh,
so they were talking about Big Mike. I was like, man, I mean, I understand why, you don't read the comments or you try not to listen to them, but I mean, they was going too far though on that one though. But I mean, I was still laughing about it. So,
man, I just hope in my 50s I'm still going like that. That's my takeaway from that.
Hey, you ain't lying about that. All right, we're gonna get to the last topic. This is Tez Figaro, and we're gonna just watch a little bits of pieces. Like Tez Figaro is very infamous or famous, whatever you want to call her. She has been on the Breakfast Club, and she was schooled by Vivek Ramaswamy. I was saying about a couple months ago when Vivek was still running. And again with Tez Figaro, I mean, she says she's independent, but it just feels like she's always caping for Democrats, or she's on their side. And it doesn't matter what side you're on. If you're on that side, you're on that side, fine, whatever. But it seems like she goes extra hard on a lot of the not Democrats, but the conservatives when they do show up on the platform, or when she's talking to a conservative. So we're definitely going to see that as well. And we're going to watch Anton Daniels react to it. And Anton Daniels, he has definitely been on a come up as well too. Like ever since Anton Daniels has been in this platform, I want to say for almost like since 2020, if I recall. But Anton has been killing the game, Anton has been quite the pioneer. He definitely, gave me the inspiration to try to do some type of reaction channel or do something, where you have a panel and, we got bigger plans for this channel. But Anton is definitely a good blueprint, just like Shannon Sharpe. But Anton's probably more attainable for most people. Like, if you want to get in this game, watch how Anton does it, and watch how how Anton sets up his platform. He has multiple channels, and I would love to get on his Monday night panel. I don't know if you have time. Like, I know you're busy, MC, but if when it comes to like Anton's multiple platforms, the one that I would say, if you do have time to watch it, watch his Monday night one, though, because his Monday night show has definitely evolved from what it used to be on the Lapeef channel, which Lapeef was, I think you still watch Lapeef. I haven't watched it in a while, but Lapeef
Just the
is
Tuesday
actually
show.
good.
I watched the King Talk on Lapeef for sure.
Yeah. I've been meaning to every now and then. Every time it shows up in my feed, but I just never go to it, unfortunately. But I know you tell me good things about it. And Anton came from, for folks that may not know, but Anton he started Lapeef with the other creator over there, and then they there was a falling out or separation or whatever it is, and Anton focused a little bit more on his channel, and he's just been killing the game. And
Shout outs to both of them. Shout out to Lapeef Jr. and Anton Daniels. Salute.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, Anton is just one of the few creators out there that gives you a good model of how you want to run your YouTube channel, or how you want to talk to guests. So
dog, you sit next to a big dog. But out of that whole stage right there, if Trump wins, only one of y'all going to the White House, and that's Michaela right there. And so we got to be honest on what up. We got to know. We have to know. No, what I'm saying is, hold on. Out of the whole crowd, only one person. Hold on, let me just.
Let's hear.
And this is why. The black people, and when it comes down to finish your comment, baby. When it comes down to a divide, focus on when it comes down to a divide in our community. This is why, because we're talking about everybody being so politically correct instead of in 4 years, what are we going to get? You mentioned chaos. Black people have been in chaos way before this debate ever started. We're in chaos in the homeless shelters. We're in chaos when it comes to the Department of Labor. We're in chaos. The fact that Jock has to bring out laptops for the kids because there's not enough resources in our community. Right. And so when we have a sister with a different opinion than ours, it's about giving that respect. The fact that... hold on, wait a minute. I gotta... Wait, no, you're not... No, I'm going to stop you because you're going on and on. And this sister here is the one that invited this sister. So if I did not respect this sister, she wouldn't be sitting here, and you're going to put some respect on that. We're not going to sit up here. No, you can get frustrated and look down at all of that. Relax. Well, we got to make sure we're very clear. This platform was designed to bring this sister here. So if there was no respect for this sister, she wouldn't be here. So let's make sure we're using the right context, brother. I don't mind you making...
Let me stop this right here. This Tezlyn Figaro, this is the same woman that was spewing the nonsense on the Breakfast Club a little while ago. I think maybe a year or two ago. And then she went online and all of that. This woman got the sassiest, nastiest attitude of women that we've seen thus far. I'm going to do a separate video on some of the issues that they were addressing, because I didn't even know that this existed until he told me in the chat. And then I called Michaela and I said, what the hell was going on? So we're going to get into that. And then I'm going to also bring Michaela back on the platform, probably this weekend, in an emergency live stream, because I need to get her perspective and her thoughts after I watch this whole thing, because we did our own debate coverage. All right. So that's number one. Number two, this type of woman, imagine being in a relationship with this type of woman. This is why these women can't get married. This is the personification of what we label an angry black woman. And don't give her a couple dollars that she ain't used to. Don't give her a couple titles that she ain't used to. This woman is probably going to read this man the riot act. And I'm so glad that y'all sent me this and then also gave me the timestamps of where it is that I need to be paying attention to, because this is absolutely positively disrespectful. Let's get into it, man.
All right. So early thoughts on this.
Off the rip, I'm gonna tell you, I've been following Tezlyn Figaro for a long time. I'm familiar, and oftentimes when she talks about her resume a lot, And I recall a conversation of, she probably won't remember this because she's got a lot of followers, but she was arguing with somebody on IG about her resume. And I commented, never explain yourself. Your friends don't need it and your enemies won't believe it. She liked it, but she continued to argue with everybody who was questioning what she was doing. So I say all that to say this. She's masculine, but she's insecure masculine, which is the worst kind.
Yeah.
God forbid a younger Black woman with a different point of view comes on your platform and outshines you. It sounds like she want to be the biggest star in the room, but if you're not familiar with what's happening with Miss Montgomery here, she's up next. I think there's about to be a wave of conservatism with Black folks, and she's going to be one of those people that's going to be leading it. And it's too early for me to have an opinion on her, but I like what I'm seeing so far, and I hope she means everything she says, because people like her and Angela Stanton King, I rock with them. I rock with them so much. And I don't dislike Tez, but this is an L for Tez. I get it. It's your show. You invited her up there. She was not disrespectful to you. She made her points. She substantiated it with something. And it started to go sideways when this gentleman in the audience, who, like most Black men, are starting to realize, hey, these conservative women is where it's at. Let me go over here and support them and rock with them to see what's up. It looks like Tez has some issues with that. Why did she bring up her resume? In that particular clip right there, unless I missed something that happened earlier, nobody questioned her resume and what work she's done. He was just praising Michaela and saying, show Michaela some respect and hear her out and listen to what she's saying. She's saying some good stuff, which I agree with. So I don't know why Tez took it there.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate look, because Revolt reminded me, is that the platform Diddy was involved with?
Yeah, I think he sold off his ownership of it when all this diddling stuff came up.
Yeah. So you have your platform's been in the news, but for the wrong reasons. And here we are again, not even that long ago, being in the news for the wrong reason. And I know Revolt is a very established platform, but I've never looked at their platform ever. I just heard the whole Revolt thing with Diddy, and then you have this outburst with Tez, and it's like she was just unhinged. She was also just uncontrolled, very defiant, and she was the moderator. There's no reason for her to act the way she acted. You're just a moderator. And apparently we need a new definition of being a moderator, because as we saw with the Trump debate, being a moderator means you're involved with asking or not asking questions, but you're also you pick a side, and then you just ambush the speaker, which is probably how Michaela probably felt. And I don't know, I don't think Anton and Michaela had that interview or the discussion, the post discussion or anything. But yeah, Michaela, Michaela should actually be a household name by now. And the conservatives, honestly, the other conservatives out there, they should be bringing Michaela onto their platform. Like, I don't know why she hasn't been brought to some platforms, but she's the person you want to have on your platform and have this conversation with, because for some reason there's been Black men discussing things with the conservative movement, and you got the Byron Donalds, you got I'm forgetting his name, Scott. What's the guy?
Tim Scott.
Tim Scott. You have Tim Scott, and then you have there's a blank on another one. The dude that was in Trump's first administration, the neurosurgeon.
Ben Carson, Dr.
Ben Carson, yeah. And you have all those individuals. I think Byron Scott is probably the most that people will probably relate to. But all those men are established, they're made, and they're very successful in their own right. And especially Byron, who's the guy that was in
Tim Scott?
No,
you're talking about Dr. Ben Carson.
Dr. Ben Carson. There we go. So even with Dr.
Legendary Dr. Ben Carson,
first Black exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so when people, real quick, just to, give him his flowers, I know I was blanking on his name, but, and I do have a lot of times with names, but with Dr. Ben Carson, I mean, he's one of the top neurosurgeons out there. Like,
Yeah.
wait, he's a neurosurgeon, right?
Yep, he is.
Okay,
He's
good.
good.
So when it comes to being like, if you want a neurosurgeon, you can say DI all you want. He's the top. He's the guy. So people get this whole DI thing mixed up. Dr. Ben Carson is the guy you want to do any type of brain surgery on you. Like they name procedures after him. So, real quick, but I just wanted to say that real quick. But going back to Michaela, like, or not Michaela, but Tez, this is like another outburst. Like, I want to say when she does go viral, it's because she's yelling at somebody or just having like a terrible argument with that person. So I mean, I know people don't go viral for like being nice or they should be cooking on something or at least have like kind of have herself composed, but not this time. Again.
Yeah. I do want to drop a couple things here, but I want to go back to something because I want to call out the Republicans that put on more Black people in the medical field than lately than the other side is, because the Florida Surgeon General right now is also another Black man who had to get it out the mud, just like Dr. Ben Carson. They built their own names, their own credentials, and I think we need to acknowledge that because we're all capable of doing that. I'll start there. Taking it back to Tez, I'm gonna give you 3 names, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm bringing these 3 names up: Molly Qerim, Michelle Beadle, and Dana Bash. These are all people who are supposed to be commentators, which by definition are supposed to be unbiased. And these are 3 strong personalities whenever they're quote unquote moderating, they don't moderate. They become a part of the show. Moderators, if you're a moderator, I should never know if you like the person you're talking to or not. And these 4,
Agreed.
and I know they all happen to be women, but those are the strongest examples I can think of. I can watch them moderate and I can tell who they like and who they don't like. I can tell if there's biases or there's not biases, especially Michelle Beadle. She's like the worst of it. But I say all that to say a good moderator nowadays is a very hard skill to find. Matter of fact, I can't even think of a good moderator. Maybe on Mason Cam's show, Stat Baby. I like Stat. She's a good moderator. But outside of her, I don't think there's too many good moderators out there right now.
Yeah, I would agree that when it comes to being a moderator today, it just tells me that you're biased. Like whatever your network is, I mean, maybe not. I mean, Fox News hasn't. I don't think they've done a debate in a while. But when it comes to like some of these other, they just turn to activists or they have a bias, like you said, and they support one side. And it's like that's not what people want to know. And there's 4 people here. There's 4 people in this picture. That I mean, this is Young Jock, and I forgot who this guy was. But there's Michaela, and then this is another conservative, which there are growing. There's more conservative Black men that are being a little more outspoken nowadays than there were, back in 2020. So that part of the vote is, Kamala's not winning, right? She's losing. But and Young Jock, it's weird that Young Jock was like over here talking about this stuff. It's like Young Jock was talking about initially. I think he went into the topic of immigration, and it's like Young Jock, which side is helping you? Which side is inviting immigrants into Black communities, and which one's trying to get rid of them and send them back to Mexico, make sure they go through a proper way, which we do have. And it's like it's just an easy conversation. Like I don't believe that he's. I think maybe he's doing it for the cameras, but there's no way he's liberal, and especially the money that he's making. There's no way he is liberal. Just want to. I mean, by their own ideologies, they're going to take his wealth.
Why is it when it comes to us, and I'm gonna make this racial for just a minute.
Yeah.
When it comes to us in politics, they invite athletes, rappers, former porn stars, Instagram models to opine on stuff like this. Like, are we the only group of people they do this with? I'm curious. Like, I'm wondering with some of my non-melanated folks? Who do they go to when they want to talk to the other non-melanated groups? If they want to talk to white people, they're not going to go pull Taylor Swift. Like, where does this come from? I think it's just further proof that that they're disrespecting our intellect. And people like Michaela Montgomery prove that every day when she embarrasses them and makes them look silly.
Well, they're not disrespecting our intellect. They're just showing us what we are. Because when Meg the Stallion went to Kamala's, I don't know what that was, like whatever town hall or whatever it was. It wasn't.
That's what that was.
Yeah, whatever it was a shit show, is what it was. But when Meg the Stallion went there and was out there twerking and had the music playing with the kids there and everything that kids should not be listening to, I mean, she didn't have to even like really try there. She's just showing us how she thinks, like what we allow people to think about the Black community, and it's 100% our fault, and there's no correction. So when Tez gets out here and you got Young Jock out here, I'm just going to sit here and watch. It shows you the place where, Black men are at and where Black women are at, because this is a crazy thing. We have Michaela Montgomery just leading the charge in the Black community when it comes to, just being conservative and discussing things related to Trump. There's no other. There should be more Black men talking about it, and there should also be more Black women. There's some Black women that have definitely been talking about it, but nobody as gifted as Michaela. Michaela definitely has a gift, has a future in this space if she can, break out of it, because she should be on like the Benny. I forget his name, Benny Johnson. Yeah, Benny Johnson, and then some other conservative platforms. Even Tucker, Tucker should be interviewing her, should be talking to her. But, it hasn't happened yet. So hopefully she got some other things lined up though. But it's just unfortunate. And this is probably an accurate representation of the Black community, where you got a couple people here and you got a couple people on the left side and the right side. And then you got people that say they're independent, but they're really on the left side.
Taking it back to Tez real quick, when are we going to learn that just because you talk louder or more than somebody doesn't mean you won the debate? She said nothing there. She did not address any of the points Michaela made, nor did she address what the guy in the audience said. She just talked about her resume, and she said it loud, and she said it repeatedly.
Yeah,
I'm not going back and forth with those people anymore. This was classic sign language.
Yeah.
But I still Tez does work though, so I respect her in that regard. But she took an L on this.
Yeah. Not the best look for her, unfortunately. And the crazy thing is, she ain't gonna lose any deals.
Nah, she won't. I don't even think she does the Breakfast Club stuff anymore. And honestly, she was pretty disrespectful with Vivek too. I don't think Vivek said anything out of pocket to her.
No.
Matter of fact, he praised her for her military service, because I think she was in the Air Force.
Yeah.
But again, the Republicans are willing to go to the other side, and the Dems aren't. So they got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Making the point about one sister going, this is the only sister on the stage that
when they bring y'all up there, sometimes they trying to set y'all up, or they trying to use your name because they know that you got motion. Let's get into it.
wanna go. So let's also make that clear. So you might want to back that. Yeah, you did. You said you don't have like ain't but for Bernie Sanders. Only one, because remember, you don't want to do resumes, because the sister already said she don't have no resume. So you might want to back that. Yeah, you did. You said you don't have like ain't but one sister, the senior public policy advisor for Ben Crump. Let's go on.
So right after she said she was respected, then she go and attack her in order to try to justify her argument.
All right.
Imagine arguing. Imagine arguing with another man like this. How long are you going to listen to this before shit about to start, before stuff starts to happen?
Oh man!
How much longer in that tone and in that manner are you going to go back and forth with another man before things start to happen? This furniture going to start moving pretty soon.
Yeah, and Tez, the crazy thing is, even if Tez, if men start doing that, it's going to come to fisticuffs. But Tez, I mean, she kind of, I guess women in general, they kind of get a free pass on that. And some of them know, hey, this is getting too wild, I'm getting out of pocket. And then you have some that say, hey, I can go as far as I want on that line, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing. None of the men are gonna do anything. None of the I mean, I don't know if Tez, I don't know how high ranking Tez is at the revolt, but this definitely is yeah, it was a bad look. But yeah, well, I'm not going to go through all this because this is kind of what we saw is what happened. So final point on this.
Yeah, my final point on this is for those of you that watch Game of Thrones, I'm talking about not House of Dragon, the first one on HBO. There was a character on there named Tywin Lannister, and one of his best quotes, which I rock with to this day: "Any man who says that I am king is no true king." That goes for any man or woman that's constantly bragging on their resume and their accomplishments. If you got to bring it up that much, you're probably not what you think you are.
Yeah, the whole resume thing triggering her like that, and I want to say, I mean, I don't know Tez like that, but I know she is accomplished, and she should. I mean, it's crazy. Like we just reacted to Shannon Sharpe, who makes all that money, has all the accolades, Hall of Famer. I mean, it's very rare for a football player, a pro football player, to get into the Hall of Fame, and he got there. I think he might have been a second or third ballot, but he got there. And I mean, still, the in the Hall. Oh, real quick, that's what it was. The Hall of Fame conversation for him and Skip, that they got into it is like, well, you were, second ballot or third ballot or something, but that was part of the reason. But anyways, it's weird that Shannon had that reaction, and he's like walking away from like, well, the whole rainbow conversation, and you got Tez, who's supposed to be having like a conversation that Black Americans need to be listening to, and that not enough Black people are tapping into any conservative channel where they don't look like them. It's weird that the person has to look like you for you to really be interested in them, because I listen to a variety of conservative channels, and every now and then I might come across like a few some CNN things and some other folks, but MSNBC, but again, she had a complete crazy reaction. And so it's just weird that how they're on different spectrums. And when it comes to like, when you feel like you're not being appreciated or you're being disrespected, Shannon, he can't have that outburst. Tez can.
And don't tell me there's no privilege in being a woman.
Hey,
I'm not trying to hear that, because she can be as combative and masculine as she want to be. But if a man bring that energy back to her, she can hide back behind that feminine, divine feminine shield anytime she wants to. Just like that lady, the brick lady. She was out there slapping men and lied and said a Black man hit her with a brick. She got real feminine real quick when she had that bruise on her face. Come to find out she was lying the whole time.
Yeah,
we got to get rid of this masculine energy in these women, man. Honestly, I take that back. We'll never get rid of it.
Oh,
but we need to deal with the ones that conduct themselves appropriately for us.
Yeah, definitely a lot of conversations there, and we'll start, looking at more reaction videos, especially with dealing with relationships, and we're not going to solve any of that stuff. We will react and laugh, but it'll be a fun ride though. So, everyone, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, we appreciate it. We plan on doing this every week, so feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us if you have any suggestions for the channel, or if you want to have us discuss something. So have a great night.
Peace.